इसम के मेजर फ्रैगमेंट्स कर लिए हैं, ठीक है? आप लोगों ने 5 फ्रैगमेंट्स किए हैं इसम के अभी तक, ठीक है? और दैट इज़ अ फिनोमिनल अचीवमेंट जो 5 फ्रैगमेंट्स आपने किए हैं, दोज़ फ्रैगमेंट्स फॉर्म द वेरी, वेरी फंडामेंटल ऑफ ऑल द इसम टू कम इन द फ्यूचर, ठीक है? इस पॉइंट पे जाके वी विल स्टार्ट टू गो इनटू द सेंटेंसेस और सेंटेंस इज़ अ वेरी बिग टॉपिक in Arabic language as a whole. It's a very big topic in the grammar studies. It's a very big topic in the rhetoric studies, the balagha studies. The balagha studies are about understanding the the message behind the words, जो कि word clearly नहीं आपको बताते, ठीक है? और एक होता है थैंक यू कहना, एक होता है थैंक यू कहना और एक होता है थैंक यू कहना। इन तीनों में फर्क हो सकता है। राइट? सो जो मैसेज है वो कॉन्टेक्स्ट की टोन को देखते हुए उसको डिकोड करना एक्चुअली ये मैसेज क्या है और किस इमोशन के साथ बात हो रही है, दैट्स ऑल पार्ट ऑफ द बलागा स्टडीज। और सेंटेंस स्ट्रक्चर्स का उसमें एक बहुत मेजर रोल होता है। अरेबिक लैंग्वेज के अंदर पंक्चुएशंस नहीं होती। अरेबिक लैंग्वेज के अंदर वर्ड्स की स्विचिंग होती है, पोजिशनिंग चेंज होती है, जिससे इमोशंस क्रिएट होते हैं, डिफरेंट आइडियाज क्रिएट होते हैं। So sentence structure is one of the most important topics in Arabic language, regardless of ism or fails. So इसके ऊपर एक skill develop करना और एक command होना is a very very important skill to have. और इंशाल्लाह इसके बाद बहुत सारी चीजें जो अभी भी unknown है आपके लिए इसम वर्ल्ड में वो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता ओपन होना शुरू हो जाएंगी, ठीक है? So I will give you a very quick summary of what fragments we have done. I'll just list them down so we are all on the same page. So we of course did the fundamentals of ism, जिसके अंदर हमने समझी सारी 4 properties, status, number, gender, type, flexibility, light, heavy, broken plurals, and all of those things, those Muslim charts and everything. We did pronouns, we did many other things, right? So that's the fundamental of ism. Then we did some key fragments. We did idafa, where we have mudaf and mudaf ilay, the off relationship. We did the special mudafs that also form the idafa fragment with mudaf and mudaf ilay, but they don't give you the off meaning. We did idafa with pronouns, how an ism is used with a pronoun, and all of that stuff. That was part of idafa studies. We also did Mosuf Sifa, which is noun and adjective relationship. So to describe a noun better, when 4 properties match and all of that. In this particular fragment, we had to be careful of if something is broken plural, what gender and number to be assigned. We had to match if it is a flexible or inflexibilism, so we can decode the properties right. For this fragment, it was very important for us to understand what are the 4 properties. The ability to detect the 4 properties was very important for this fragment. Of course, in this fragment, there is always a challenge for a student to understand what is Mosuf and what is Sifa, because it supports the long distance relationship. And that, of course, improves over time with experience. But we have done very good progress so far on this one. Okay? Um, Third one, we did harf of jar, which was pretty simple. We did a harf of jar chart. Then we did harf of nasab, which is also pretty simple as far as you know the chart of these huruf. In one of the previous classes, we did ism ishara, ism ishara, and musharun ilay. Musharun ilay. I believe Farhan, you might not be up to speed with this one, as far as I can tell. Taken.
Yeah.
So this is one of the previous class. Not very difficult. This इस class में शायद थोड़ा सा इसका impact आएगा, लेकिन once you are done with that previous class, it is not a difficult topic to really cope up with. So this fragment was us understanding the pointers, this, that, those, these, and then building a fragment out of it. We learned the tricks of a pointer followed by an al and 4 properties match, then it's a pointer fragment, right? That's what we have done so far. If you also remember, in the very beginning phases of the classes, in very early classes, we said that the components of every language, you have letter, and then you form then you form a word out of it, and then from the word you form phrases or fragments out of it, and then from fragment you form sentences out of it. Right? Now this is where we are today. Okay, letter you already knew. You studied word, you studied fragment, and now you are going to jump into sentences. Okay, so it's a good achievement. Mashallah, in less than a year, studying 1 hour just every week, we have progressed a lot. Okay, so mashallah, that's very good. So let's start the study of sentences. So it's sentences. In Arabic, in Arabic, there are two types of sentences. Just two types of sentences. One is ism-based sentences, and the other is fi'l-based sentences. Ism-based and fi'l-based. And as you can imagine, we will not do the fi'l-based sentences today because you have not done the fi'l. Okay? So the ism-based sentences in Arabic is called Jumla, Jumlatu, jum, Jumlatun, Ismiyatun. You don't have to memorize it, but it's pretty simple. Jumla, we all know from Urdu, is a sentence. Ism, we all know from Urdu and Arabic now as well. So it's a Mawsuf Sifa. You see that, right? Jumlatun Ismiyatun. It's a ism sentences. Okay. That's what it's called in Arabic, right? So ism-based sentences, first we need to understand the structure. First, we understand the structure of the sentence. Then we will understand the labeling. Then we will understand uh, the labeling of the sentence. Okay, what is what in the sentence? And inshallah, then we will start to jump into deeper examples. Okay, so that's how we'll structure our study. Okay, so in the ism-based sentences, every ism-based sentence has three components. I'm not going to give you terminology yet. I'm just going to keep it very simple for us to understand. So the first component is A, the second component is B, and the third component is C. Okay? Every ism-based sentence can be composed of three components, A, B, and C. Right? Sometimes you have an A and you have a B, and you don't have a C. Some other times you have a A and you have a C, but you don't have a B. Which one do we have always? Which is the one which is always there? A.
A.
Right? So what does it tell you? A is mandatory. A is mandatory. Whereas B and C, one of them must exist. They both can exist together. One of them can exist together. Right? But A is mandatory. That's how the overall high-level structure is. Now, when you build the structure of ism-based sentences, you could have AA, BB, CC. Could have multiple A's, multiple B's, and multiple C's. You could have one A, you could have multiple B's and single C. You could have three A's, single B, and multiple C's. Any combination is possible. Okay, that's possible, right? The whole idea is you could have a sentence which is A, C, C, C sentence. You could have a B sentence, or any further combination. You understand the principle?
Does that mean it always start with A as well, or?
I'm coming there.
Okay.
Coming there. Okay. So from the structure perspective, we have to be clear that this is how the sentences work in ism world, right? Now, because A is mandatory, A will always be there. And how many A's are there? We'll learn how to detect that. Sometimes switching of places take place. This is a normal structure of the sentence. When you have A first, then you have B second, and then you have C. This is a normal sequence, the usual sequence of sentence. That's the usual standard sequence of the sentence. Okay. Sometimes what you would see is A is there, then comes C, and then comes B. This is an abnormal structure. This is an abnormal structure. It is not a wrong structure. It is an abnormal. It's an unusual structure. And unusual structure comes in when there is something else to be said without using new words. In Arabic, the more you can say with less word is better. Right? So that's why Quran is in Arabic. If Quran was in English or any other language, you would have multiple books. Right? Arabic is a very, very comprehensive and rich language. Okay? You could also have, for example, C, and then you have A, and then you have B. This is also an abnormal structure. Okay? Okay? This is also an abnormal structure. In some cases, you have B, then you have A, and then you have C. This is also an abnormal structure. Okay? So that principle has to be understood well. So how structures work in the ism world in terms of sentences. So we will start with, of course, this side of the story. That's what we will do first. So we really understand how a normal sentence works. Any questions on this part before I move forward? No questions? Good. If there are any questions, of course, we can always come back. So I assume the structure side is understood. Now we need to understand what is A and what is B and what is C. I'm going to say, for example, he, or say he is, for example. He is. Now, if I say he is, does that give you complete information? Mics को
No.
unmute कर ले क्योंकि यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा interaction चाहिए होगा. No, it does not give you complete information. But does it tell you what am I going to talk about now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It tells you that I'm going to talk about him, right? But it doesn't tell you what am I going to talk about. So when you have something like this, you're actually looking at a topic of the sentence. This is the topic of the sentence. You know what is the, in English, subject. We have all learned in English grammar, right? Subject of the sentence. So when we are talking about this, we know that I'm going to talk about he. Same if I say the masjid. If I say the masjid, okay, fine, but what? You know that I'm going to talk about the masjid, but you do not know what I'm going to talk about the masjid. It doesn't give me the full information. It gives you the topic, the subject. If I say Farhan, you know I'm going to talk about Farhan, but what about Farhan? Nobody knows. So every time you find a subject, a topic that you know that this is going to, about this thing we are going to talk about, that is an A. That is an A. Okay. I'll go slow here so you can digest this, because these fundamental concepts are really important for you to have a good skill in the sentence-based structures. So it's important for us to understand and ask questions if you have any. So let's do this. He is, for example, the masjid is big. Does that give you full information?
Yes.
Yes. it gives you full information now. The masjid is big. Can you tell me what is A in this masjid? In this entire sentence, I gave you the answer.
The masjid
Masjid.
is
The masjid. The masjid is A, right? And the information about the A, that is B. The information about A is B. Now, masjid is going to be A, and big is going to be B. Okay? So the big is. So this is a sentence which is A-B sentence. This is the structure which is A-B structure. Now, if I take the same sentence and I say the masjid is big in Pakistan. Okay? The masjid is big in Pakistan. We know the masjid is A. We know the big is B. In Pakistan is an auxiliary information related to the information that was provided. Where is it big? In Pakistan, it is big. Okay, this is auxiliary information. This part is C. In this case, it is going to be A, B, and C sentence. Right? Now, let's take the same sentence and apply a little bit of what you already know from the Arabic. The masjid is big in Pakistan. Now, this one, the masjid, is a subject. Big is a detail about the subject. What status it could be?
Nasab.
Nasab. In Pakistan, what type of fragment is this?
Harf of jar.
It's a harf of jar, right? Can anybody tell me the Arabic version of this?
sorry,
Min Pakistan or
ये हर्फ ऑफ नसब नहीं होगा क्योंकि नसब आ रहा है इसमें सिर्फ.
What is, let's pick up in. Do we know which harf represents in?
Fi.
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 Fi. And Pakistan in Arabic is?
Pakistan.
Pakistan. Fi Pakistan. So this is a harf of jar, right? So you already are getting a hint that C is going to be harf of jar in the sentence. Okay? And B is, as far as your understanding right now is nasab, which I'm going to, of course, address a little bit. This is not completely correct for the ism-based sentences, but this is what you have learned so far, that the detail is the nasab. Okay. Now let's move forward. Now I'm going to write down a few things. I'm going to write he is, they are, that car is, for example, indeed, we are, for example, the house is, for example, Talha is, what else should I say? So, for example, this boy is, let's keep it to this. Help me construct these sentences a little bit. So, he is, tell me something. Anything.
Good.
He is kind.
He's kind. Okay. They are,
Together.
sorry,
Happy or together?
they are happy and together. Let's say we do it like this. Okay. That car is
Expensive.
expensive. Indeed, we are
Learning.
learning. The house is
Big.
big. Good shortcut, Sohail. Talha is. This is your opportunity, guys. Talha is.
Absent.
Idiot.
Huh?
He's absent right now. So
Absent.
नहीं मैं सुन रहा हूँ.
पढ़ाकू की इंग्लिश क्या होगी?
Absent.
गलत.
है जरा?
Absolutely गलत.
अल्लाह नजर नहीं आ रहे हो.
Okay.
मैं काम कर रहा हूँ. आ रहा हूँ.
Absolutely wrong. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely not.
The boy is.
Playing.
Playing, not playing. Playing is a verb.
अच्छा,
I need
फिर
an
वो
answer.
learning भी एक verb ही होगा ना फिर.
चलो playing ले लेते हैं. Let's do that. No problem. ठीक है. Now notice one thing.
ये गरम है बड़ी.
If I extend these little bit, he is kind to his patients, right? They are happy and together in the school. That car is expensive in America. Okay? Indeed, we are learning
Arabic.
very fast or
Arabic.
very slow or
Arabic. We're learning Arabic in class. Okay. The house is big.
But comfortable.
But far.
However, far. Okay. Or but far. Talha is absolutely wrong.
But
But
sometimes correct.
but we are fine with it.
like me, okay? Like me, okay? This boy is playing in the garden. Okay. Chale. Now, our job is to detect what is A, what is B, and what is C. What is the topic in this sentence?
He.
He. Okay. He is the topic in the sentence. Okay. What about this?
They.
They are the topic in the sentence. And this one,
That car.
that. What about this? That car, in fact. Correct. That car.
We.
Just we?
I think इसमें we ही आएगा. Indeed we. We is the subject.
Indeed, we is the topic. Okay. This one?
Far
Yeah.
just as why
G.
indeed we on the above one? Why not just we? Because indeed is just the emphasis. Like.
But it's an ism, right? It's an idea. It's an adverb or adjective or whatever. लेकिन अगर आप इसको इस तरह लिखेंगे, we are, then it's also we. But now you are not saying we. You are indeed we tells you that I'm going to talk about ourselves, but with lots of emphasis. That's my subject. Okay.
Okay.
It communicates that emotion. It's not just normal talk. I'm really serious about it.
So you
Right.
are actually trying to propagate the emotion, the feeling behind it,
Correct.
the emphasis and everything. That will also
Correct.
be included as the subject.
Yes, if we had punctuations, you could do something like we exclamation mark, right? But we don't have that in Arabic. Now, in this one topic, guys,
The house.
the house, Talha, this boy. Okay. B, I want information about the topic. Information about the topic. Here, what is the information about the topic?
Kind.
Kind. Kind. Happy and together. Expensive. learning Arabic. Big. Absolutely wrong. Playing. Information about the topic. If you stop at information about the topic, you still have good information. He is kind, they are happy and together, that car is expensive, and so on. Right? But there is an auxiliary information which is related further to this information provided. Right? To his parents. I want every one of you to see how it is related to this information. He's kind to his parents. They're happy and together in the school. In America, expensive in America. We're learning Arabic in the class. The house is big, however, or but far. The lie is absolutely wrong. Like me. It's related information. This boy is playing in the garden, right? Now the red is A, the green is B, and the orange is C. Everyone is clear with that? Yeah? Good. Now there is one thing which remains black. Is, and different forms of is. Another form I will write here. I am a teacher in school, right? So I is the topic. A teacher is my further information about the topic. In the school is my related information, right? The school. Now, this is, are, am, these are all forms of, in English, we call the verb to be, right? That verb to be does not exist in Arabic language. It does not exist. And you have to find it. You have to find it. It's invisible between the words, and you have to find it. Learn to identify that is. Because if you cannot identify that is, you will not be able to write sentences like this from Arabic to English. Okay? So there is a full topic we have to cover, which is finding the invisible is. The invisible is. Finding the invisible is. Okay? Now, let's do another thing here. Whatever you have written as a topic, can you give me the Arabic of that? What is he in Arabic?
Rafa.
No, he in Arabic.
Sorry, Hua.
Hua. What is they in Arabic?
Whom.
Whom.
Whom. That car.
Haza. That is Zalika.
Zalika.
Car is Sayara.
Yes, car is Sayyara. Okay. But
लेकिन यहाँ पे फिर तिल का होगा ना क्योंकि वो फेमिनिन में आता है.
No. मैं इसको चेंज कर देता हूँ ताकि we use with the vocabulary that we know. That house is expensive in America.
ठीक है.
Okay. चलो. Zalika, and then what should I do? That house. I have to say that house.
Bait.
Zalika bait.
Bait, is that it?
Baitu.
Baitu.
Is that it? Zalika baitu?
इस केस में ये is आ रहा है तो ये होगा.
No, don't worry about the is. I'm only talking about the red part. I'm only talking about
Zalikal baitu.
Zalikal baitu.
Al baitu.
Correct. Now it's a fragment. Okay?
Zalikal baitu.
Zalikal baitu. This one. Indeed we.
Indeed,
what is indeed or certainly?
Certainly.
Inna.
And we is?
Nahnu.
So what form should I use here?
Inna nahnu.
Innal.
Innal nahnu.
No.
Innana, innana, innana.
That's a form
Harf
of
of nasab.
nahnu, right? You could write it as innana or you could write it as inna.
Inna.
Both work. Okay? You see that? The house. How should I say the
Al-bayt.
house in Arabic?
Al-baytu.
Al-bayt. Okay? Talha is Talha, right? Talha is already Talha. Talhatu. Okay? The boy, walad is a boy. So this boy is hazal waladu. Hazal waladu. Hazal waladu. Okay. I, what is I?
Ana.
Ana. Who? Now, what you have done here, you have seen pointers, sorry, pronouns. You have seen pointer fragments. You have seen harf of nasab fragments. You have seen proper isms in this form with al, in normal form like a name. Again, you have seen ism ishara, the pointer fragments or independent pronouns. Let's list them down below. Let's list them down below here. What did we see? We see pronouns. Then we saw pointer fragments. We saw harf of nasab fragments. We saw proper nouns, proper isms. Okay. Yeah. So we saw one example is missing. For example, if I say yes, one example I did not construct, which is this. For example, this. Did I say this house is big? No, this house is big. No. This is a big house. Or house, big house. So in this particular one, this is going to be the topic, right? A big is going to be the information about the topic, and also the house, of course. Now this is a sentence which is A B sentence. This one is A B C sentence. This one is A B C sentence. All of them are basically ABC sentences, right? Now in this one you have this, which is haza. I should have said haza waladu and nobody stopped me, guys. It's haza waladu. Okay. Now we have seen pointers. Okay. I could also say, for example, Baitullahi, which in English would be the house of Allah is beautiful. Okay. Baitullahi, which is the house of Allah. This is the topic. And now beautiful is the information about that topic. Okay. Now, in this particular case, you're looking at what type of fragment? What is the house of Allah? What type of fragment is this? Idafa, right? You could also have idafa. These things that I've listed here for now. Pronouns, I will also remove this for now for you. Just focus on these ones. Pronouns, harf of nasab fragments, proper isms, and pointers. When you spot them, not the pointer fragment, when you spot these four, it's highly likely there is an is after it. There is an is after it. Let's do an example. Your question today. Hu Allahu. How does it translate? Is this an independent pronoun?
Yes.
Yes. Does it have any relationship with the word after it? Does it fit into any fragment?
No. No.
No. It has a break in the chain, isn't it? It has a break in the chain, right? So when there is a break in the chain like this, you put an is in the middle. You put an is in the middle. This is where the is living. This is the part where is living. Okay. So when you translate it, you would say he is Allah. Where does this is come from? It's not a word here, but you know that when you see independent pronoun, that independent pronoun is a likelihood that there is going to be an is after it. Most of the time, 99%, 98% of the time, after an independent pronoun, you will have an is. It's always a good idea to remember pronouns with an is. For example, say hua means he is. Huma means they both are. Hum means they are. Remember it like that. Okay, so there is an is after independent pronouns. Then you can say, for example, haza vehicle. You remember we said when you do not have an al, it's a sentence in a pointer fragment. That's why we said it. Because when you have a pointer, there is an invisible is after it. So you would translate it like this is a house. With me, guys? So far?
Yes.
Good. Have you seen this ayahs, these types of ayahs in the Quran? Inna Allah, for example, Ghafurun Rahimun.
फाद भाई एक क्वेश्चन
जी
हमने साथ में ये भी पढ़ा था ना कि अगर हमने इसको प्रॉपर बनाना है और सेंटेंस भी बनाना है पॉइंटर वर्ड के साथ तो फिर
जी
हम
जी
बनाएंगे अल बैतु हाजा फिर पॉइंटर वो आगे लगा देंगे उससे यही चीज थी
नहीं, that was the case when the pointer was pointing to idafa,
इदाफा ठीक
right?
है लेकिन अगर हमने यूं करना हो दिस इज द हाउस
So yes, then in that case you would have to move the pointer.
फिर भी यानी वही हो जाएगा अल बैतु हाजा
वो मैंने भी आपको पढ़ाया नहीं है, उसको आप इस तरह करेंगे, हाजा हुवल बैतु. You have not done this thing yet.
ठीक है
Okay? So let's keep this question. Inshallah, we'll
ठीक
cover it.
ठीक
ठीक है? Now look at this one. Inna Allaha ghafurur rahim. You have seen these types of ayahs in the Quran. What is this fragment? Inna Allaha.
हर्फ ऑफ नसब
Harf of nasab. And did we say after harf of nasab there can be invisible is? Yes. So you will put the invisible is here. And you will say indeed or certainly Allah is all forgiving and most merciful. Oh, sorry, not and the most merciful. But most merciful, not the. Okay? Certainly Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. Now this is, where does it come from? It comes from because the fact that there is a harf of nasab, and we know after harf of nasab there is going to be an is. Okay, so these things you should remember. After pronouns, after harf of nasab, after proper isms. Proper ism example is this one. Al-baytu. Oh, sorry. Al-baytu. Al-baytu jamilun. Now, al-baytu is proper. Jamilun means beautiful, is common, correct? So this is a case of proper followed by common. When you have a proper followed by common, there is a is in the middle. The house is beautiful. Okay. Another example. This is a good example. Allahu Akbaru. Allahu Akbaru. We listen to that every day when there is a salah, right? Namaz time. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbaru. The word Allah is proper. Is the ism Akbaru proper or common? Is it proper or common?
Common.
Common. Proper followed by common. When proper is followed by common, you have is in the middle. Allah is. What is the translation of Akbar? There is a gem here.
Great. Great.
Great. Actually, that's not right. The translation of Akbar is greater. Let me give you this gem. It's a good point to give you this gem. So the word Akbar come from a pattern in Arabic, which is af'al pattern. Af'alu pattern. Any ism that maps to this pattern is quite likely to be a comparative or a superlative, which we will do inshallah later on. So Akbaru is like af'alu. It's like asgharu, and so on and so forth. So when you have a comparative, then you have ar in the end. It's like, for example, good, better, best. So this better is comparative. It's like tall, taller, tallest. The taller is comparative, right? That's the point. So when you say Allahu Akbaru, saying Allah is great, you are using superlative form, which is actually Al Akbaru, which is not this. It's like this, Al Akbaru. You don't see this. You don't say this in the Salah. You don't say Al Akbaru. You say Allahu Akbaru, okay, which is a comparative form. So when Allah has used the comparative form here to represent greater, and the message here is basically whatever you are doing right now, Allah is greater. Okay, that's what Azan is telling you. When you say Allahu Akbaru, it means whatever you're doing right now, whatever it is in your life, how important you think it is, Allah is greater than that. So go and pray. That's the whole idea behind these terms. It's a small gem. It's a very interesting gem. But this is a ism sentence. It's Allah is greater. Right? So what I'm telling you is you have to learn to find the invisible is. And the invisible is lives after pronouns. It lives after harf of nasab fragments. It lives after proper isms followed by common isms. Okay, and it lives after pointers. These things are basically giving you indications where the invisible is. And the last thing I want to tell is there is another aspect where invisible is lives, which we call break in the chain. You have done many fragments. You have done, for example, you have done harf of jar, you have done harf of nasab, mawsuf, sifa, you've done idafa, done ishara. Yeah, and you have done, for example, not a fragment really, but a concept of wow, which is ataf, right? The wow. It's not really a fragment. All of these things, harf of jar, chains the words together. Harf of nasab change the words. Mausuf sifa change the words. Idafa change the words. Ism ishara fragment change the words. And ataf change the words together. Right? All of these things connect the word. You can't really break them when they are operating together. So when you find a spot in the Quran where you have a chain going on, but then it breaks, the relationship is missing. That's what we call the break in the chain. Break in the chain. Okay. So when you find a break in the chain, it is also likely that there is an is there. Okay. So when you have break in the chain from these fragments, these topics. Okay. So these few things you should keep in mind. Your first job is to be able to find the invisible is. Once you are able to find the invisible is, then you can start labeling what is what in the sentence. So pronouns, harf of nasabs, proper isms followed by common isms, pointers, break in the chain. Okay. In last 1 minute, I will do a very quick example from the Quran, and then we'll let you go. Just focus on what I'm asking you. Okay. Don't look around too much yet. Okay. Where is the invisible is in this? Where do you think it lives?
After huwa.
After
Allah
huwa.
is
Correct. This is where the invisible is. Very good. Let's pick up another example. Wallahu alimun bizat sudur. Where is invisible is?
after
Allahu, because
Yes.
Alim is common.
Correct. It's proper followed by common. That is where the is sitting. Right? Okay. Should be straightforward. Zalika bi annahu. After the pointer fragment. Zalika bi annahu is the invisible is.
उसके बाद नहीं होगा बियन्नाहु के बाद भी.
Don't go where I'm not taking you, Soeb. Abhi na jao udhar. Just stay with what I'm doing. Okay? I can give you lots of information, but it will overload you guys. Okay? Where is the invisible is, guys?
After Allah.
After the word Allah. It's proper followed by common. Okay, so let me find another example.
ज़ालिकल फौजुल अज़ीम.
किधर है?
इसी अलाइनमेंट पे. नीचे इससे आगे.
Yep. Zalikal Fawzul Azim. Can you detect the invisible is? Yes. Should be straightforward after the word Zalika. Okay.
लेकिन यहाँ पे तो अल फौजू है तो भी
पर
नहीं होगा.
al-fawzul है यार यहाँ
अल
पे
फौजू है.
Sorry, no, this is a wrong example.
हाँ, ये
no,
wrong है.
there is
ठीक है,
no
sorry.
invisible.
It's
It's a
proper
fragment.
followed by proper.
Correct. No, wrong. This is correct.
ठीक है. ज़ालिका यौमु. ठीक है.
This is correct. Okay. Zalika yawmu. This one is not correct. मैं ढूंढ रहा हूँ कुछ डिफरेंट.
और सिर्फ एक क्वेश्चन यार, अभी हमने लेक्चर में पढ़ा था कि इनविजिबल इस जो है वो हर्फ ऑफ जर या हर्फ ऑफ नसब उसके बाद भी आ सकता है ना? या
मैंने अभी आपको वो पढ़ाया नहीं है. कि इनविजिबल इज किसके बाद आ सकता। मैंने आपको सिर्फ एक हाई लेवल स्ट्रक्चर दिया है, एंड नाउ आई एम गिविंग यू अ स्किल ऑफ हाउ टू आइडेंटिफाई वेयर इज द इनविजिबल इज। नाउ व्हाट इज ए, व्हाट इज बी, व्हाट इज सी, वी हैव नॉट डन दैट इन डिटेल, ठीक है। सो दैट इज नेक्स्ट क्लास, ठीक है। The first job is to identify invisible is. Innama amwalukum. Now you don't know ma, we have not done ma, but you know inna. Right? Ma means what or whatever. Okay? What or whatever. So innama is which fragment?
Harf of nasab.
Correct.
Harf of
Correct. Amwal is wealth. And kum you should know. What should amwalukum translate to?
Your wealth.
your
Your
wealth.
wealth. And if ma means whatever, inna means
Whatever your wealth.
certainly. Can you translate this for me, guys?
Certainly whatever your wealth is.
Certainly whatever?
Certainly
Whatever is your wealth.
whatever is your wealth.
Whatever is your wealth.
Your wealth.
So now you're putting is here because you know the invisible is lives after harf of nasab. It's not explicit. Okay? So I'll stop here. Your job is to open up the Quran and try to find these places as much as you can. These ones. Okay. Pronouns, harf of nasab, proper followed by common, pointers. Just try to find these things. If you go in your exercise notes, you have a chapter here called Finding an Invisible Is. It's a good idea for you to practice that little bit there. It's, I think, page number. I'll show you. Wait a second. G. So look at this one. Okay, so this is page number 32, and it's all about finding the invisible is in Jumla Ismiyah. Independent pronouns are usually followed by is. Pointer word followed by other than al are having is. Harf of nasab and its ism usually followed by is. Proper followed by common is. Break in the chain. Okay. Try to do this exercise. Try to do this exercise and try to see if you can find where the invisible is sits. This is a very important skill to develop. If you develop this skill, inshallah, then next part is the labeling of the sentence of what is A, B, and C, and looking into more deeper structure of the sentence. That will open up lots of Quran for you, inshallah. Okay. So that's what I would expect you to do during the week, and inshallah, in the next class, we'll move forward from this point. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Chale, Zabardast. Any questions? Shoot them or shoot the questions on WhatsApp. Okay. I'll try to throw a few questions here and there just to help you guys. Your brain juices keep on moving, inshallah. Okay. So inshallah, I'll see you next Sunday. If there are any questions, feel free. Okay.
Thank you.
Chale,
Inshallah.
thank you very
Jazakallah.
much. Jazakallah khair.
और
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम, अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।